بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Since September 2019, the Islamic Education Trust Human Welfare Department has positively touched over 6,500 lives through its intervention program, the food aid program, the financial aid program, Qurbani meat distribution during Eid al-Adha, Widows Empowerment Program, the Orphan Care Program, and the Tree Planting Program. For this good work to continue and be sustained, we need your continuous support. Jazakumullahu khairan as we look forward to your generous donation. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Muhammad Nuruddin Lemu, Director for Research and Training at the Dawah Institute of Nigeria Islamic Education Trust, and also Director of Lotus Capital Halal Investments. In this episode, we would like to carry on with basic principles and concepts of financial literacy. In one of our last episodes, we discussed basically how to move from working for your money, where you work and money comes from employer to you, the employee. In other words, income from work goes straight into your own expenditure and liabilities, where you are working for money, and if you stop working, the money stops coming. How do you move from that to a situation where while you are working, you are saving? And while you are saving, you are investing in assets. Assets are things that bring money into your pocket. Remember, liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. And the idea is that an increasing percent, some bonus you are not expecting, some amount you are expecting, but gradually you are able to save more, increase your investment in assets, things that bring in money, not increase your investment in liabilities. Not buy another television. That's a liability. Why? It's going to just chop more of your electricity. Not buy a new phone if you don't need a new phone. So buy things that you know can help bring money into your pocket, so that the money coming from there gradually increases and becomes more over time than the money you are making from where you work. Therefore, you are hoping over time your assets will be able to take care of your financial needs, not your job. Because then you are freer to spend your life doing whatever you feel is the best utilization of the time and risk and gifts that Allah has given you. Whether it is helping people in one way, contributing, serving society better, all up to you. There was an elderly man who was living in a village. He lived in a village with his son, and he taught his son hard work and said, "Son, go to town, go and work so that you can come back and take care of us." The son knew his father was very religious and said, "Inshallah, I'll do my best." On the way, it was quite a distance. Nightfall came and he decided to go and rest under a tree for the night. He heard the sound of something coming. There was a full moon, so he could see quite well. And he noticed that there was a wolf, like hyena, that was stumbling and bumping into trees and falling. And he looked carefully. And that's when he noticed that this wolf was blind. But then in the background, he heard the sound of a lion coming. And he got scared. So he climbed a tree high up. But then he noticed the lion coming in the direction of the wolf. And he felt, this wolf is dead. But as the lion got closer, he noticed that the lion was carrying something in his mouth. The lion had caught a rabbit, and the lion came and dropped the rabbit in front of the blind wolf. The blind wolf ate and the lion went away. This young man was just saying, Ikon Allah, Masha Allahu. Oh, see how Allah takes care of his own. By the next morning, the boy decided to go back home. And he went and told his dad, Dad, Wallahi, if we are able to just trust in Allah, Allah will take care of everything. No need to go to town, no need to go and work. Just trust in Allah. I saw how Allah got a lion to bring food for free to a wolf. If we trust in Allah enough, Allah will take care of us the way He took care of the wolf. The father looked and thought and said to himself, My son, I didn't send you to town to go and be a wolf. I am sending you to town to go and be a lion. So if there's any lesson you are going to learn from that story the father told his son, is not that, oh, Allah wants you to be like the wolf, waiting for the lion. No. The lesson you should learn is Allah wants you to be like the lion, taking care of the blind wolf. So when we come to this subject of financial literacy, yes, we appreciate Allah takes care of everything. We have a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever does things the way Allah wants, Allah will take care of them the way He takes care of the birds. They leave their nests in the morning hungry. They leave their homes, they leave their nests in the morning hungry, and they return in the evening satisfied. Allah has taken care of them. But we have to remember, Allah took care of the bird not by the bird staying in its nest. The bird had to invest the effort in going out, searching, risking its life. However, at the end of the day, the bird is able to come back home satisfied and even able to take care of its own young. When we look at the subject of financial literacy, I would like to share another story from which I hope we will get some lessons. Different ethnic groups. In Nigeria, you have major ethnic groups like the Hausa, Fulani, Igbos, Yorubas. Of course, my own ethnic background is Nupe. You've got many other ethnic backgrounds that have different ways of ensuring greater financial security, that have various financial strategies for taking care of their own. And I'd like to share with you one from the Fulani side. For Igbos, for example, and we will look at that some other time, they have a system where you work in a shop or in a business for some years, and after you have learned everything to do with the market chain of that business. You've worked in the supply side, you've worked in the cashier side, you've worked in the security side, you've worked in the store, you've worked in everything to do with the business. You've learned your thing. Gradually, you get settled and you are able to open your own, or start as a partner and then gradually open your own. When we look at other ethnic groups, within the Yoruba system, there's a system of guilds where in a craft, whether it's a vulcanizer or a mechanic or whatever, similar to the Igbos, you go, you spend time working, you get better, gradually you then get settled and establish your own. Hausas have their own with shops and agriculture, with goats and sheep. But the one I'd like to share is the common system used by the Fulani. It's very simple, very straightforward, but I think we will learn some principles that would be useful to us in our modern society. When a Fulani man, the nomadic Fulani, when his wife delivers, he buys a chicken for the child. Okay? He's not very wealthy. Most Fulani settlements require a minimum of 15 cows to take care of their needs. So when we look at the strategy of the Fulani, if he is wealthy enough, he will buy a chicken. If he is not wealthy enough to even buy a chicken for his son or his daughter, he will use the money to buy eggs. That egg or eggs he will put under a chicken. They will hatch. And those chickens, he started with eggs. Those 21 days later, the eggs have hatched. Those chickens are for his son. He doesn't eat them, he doesn't touch them. Over the next couple of years, those chickens will grow, will hatch, will grow, will hatch. Snake will take some, hawk will take some will die of disease, some will survive, survival of the fittest, but gradually, over the next 2 to 3 years, he will have about 30 to 40 chickens. He will then sell most, not all, most of his chickens, and he is able to buy a goat or 2. As soon as he has enough chickens to buy a goat, he will buy a goat. And that goat will grow. He will buy a female, what they call a nanny goat. He will buy a goat. After a while, 5 years later, 6 years later, 1 goat has become 2, 2 have become 3, 4, 5, 6. He will sell the goats. Keep 1, maybe 2. But use that money to buy a cow. Sometimes a young female cow, maraka, just a young calf. But over the next few years, that calf or cow that he bought will grow. A cow delivers every year and a half. After 1.5 years, when the cow is now around, say, 4 years old, every 1.5 years it delivers approximately 1 cow. Remember, he has not sold all his chickens. His chickens continue to increase, and he will sell some chickens and buy a goat. He didn't sell all his goats. His goats continue to increase, and he will sell and buy a cow. And that's how he continues to have more and more cows, but he didn't put everything in cows. He didn't put everything in goats. He didn't put everything in chickens. He has multiple sources of income as his wealth is growing. And by the time our children are finishing university, children that are born at the same time with this Fulani boy, the Fulani boy has already set up his own family, has enough cattle to take care of himself, with backup in case of disease, in case of people stealing. He has backup, not just in form of cattle, but in form of goats and in form of chickens. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we would look at this Fulani family financial strategy and see what lessons we can pick from that as basic concepts in financial literacy that would be useful for us. Assalamu alaikum.